My name is Amanda Sweet, and I'm the Interim Crime Lab Director here at the Metro Nashville Police Department Crime Laboratory. We belong under the Police Department here in Nashville, which has approximately 2,000 employees, 1,500 sworn officers. Our laboratory has about 50 people, and we are a full-service crime laboratory that has firearms, DNA unit, latent prints, toxicology, and drug identification unit. And our mission is to provide quality services to the citizens of Nashville, Davidson County. This is the Firearms unit at the crime lab, and they receive evidence from gun crimes in Nashville, and they do two types of testing here. One of the types is NIBIN testing, and that's where they enter cartridge cases into a database to compare if those cartridge cases match any other ones found in any other crime scenes in Nashville or other counties or any other area in the United States. They also do comparisons on microscopes to see if bullets or cartridges fired from a weapon compared to that weapon. One of the highlights of this unit is they received their 4,000th NIBIN lead in June of this year. This is the DNA unit of the crime laboratory. They receive evidence from a variety of cases where they identify biological fluids to see if there's a presence of biological fluid that can be passed on for DNA analysis. And the goal in this unit is to try to develop a DNA profile from the evidence. And if a DNA profile exists, then it can be compared to a known standard from a suspect, or it can be run, if eligible, in the DNA database, which is called CODIS, to see if somebody has been put in the database prior and if they can make an identification that way. And then if they get a DNA match, then they can give a statistic on how frequent that DNA sequence is in the population of the world. And that is a service that this unit provides to Nashville. I'm in our evidence receiving unit. This unit receives all evidence for the forensic disciplines in the laboratory, and this is a storage facility for all of the evidence until the units come and pick it up for analysis. And I'm standing in front of the vault which stores all of the evidence, and it's very secure with stainless steel gates and a solid door that has badge access to enter. I'm standing in front of the Toxicology unit. This unit receives blood samples from the Metro Nashville Police Department to test alcohol and drugs in DUI cases primarily. And they use a variety of instrumentation to analyze the blood samples. And like I said, they're looking for alcohol and a variety of drugs, which the most common drugs in Nashville tend to be cocaine, methamphetamine, and marijuana. I'm standing in front of a liquid chromatography mass spectrometry instrument. And this is an instrument primarily used in the tox unit to test for drugs in blood. Blood can't just be run on the instrument in its natural form. It has to be extracted. So the drugs are actually extracted out of the blood sample and then put on the instrument to be run. And this instrument will actually separate out the different components of the blood if there's different drugs in there. And then it runs through this instrument portion, which is called a mass spectrometer. And this actually identifies the molecular weight of the drug so that it's a unique identification. And that's how we determine what drugs existed in somebody's system at the time of the stop. Many crimes in Davidson County involve controlled substances. This is the Drug Identification Unit, and they receive pills, powders, liquids, plant material, paraphernalia to test for the presence of controlled substances or drugs. And they use different instrumentation for this analysis. I'm standing in front of a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer, which is one of the varieties of instruments that can be used to identify drug material. They also use different techniques to do presumptive and confirmatory tests to ensure that what they're providing for court is accurate and reliable tests. Well, we're in the latent print unit of the crime lab, and this unit receives evidence from different crime scenes. And these are prints that are lifted that aren't visible for the naked eye, that are sent up to the crime lab for comparison to a known print. And they're looking at different points, as you can see in this, they're called minutia points, to identify whether the unknown matches with the known. And I want to thank you for visiting us on this crime lab tour. And if you have any questions, you can email us at crimelab@nashville.gov. I thank you for your time, and I hope you learned something.